Hello everyone and welcome to the second weekend of the USCX series. We're here in Baltimore, Maryland for the Charm City Cyclocross weekend. We just went under the finish, into the whole shot, so let's get into it. You'll see that if you've done this course before, there's a lot of similarities, but there's some small changes and tweaks here and there. There's a lot of barricades and fencing on both sides of the course here. It's a really high production race. It's really great to see an event like this stepping up to give that real professional feel to it. Now you'll start to see things seem to be a little wide open here, but you'll start to see some bottlenecks coming up shortly, which is going to make passing really difficult if you're coming up through traffic. Already we see right, left, and there seems to be a little bit of climbing here. You can't really see it as much with this camera, but this is more climbing than we get early in the lap than we normally do here. So over the course of the hour or 45 minutes or however long you're racing, the elevation will take a toll on you. There's the technical aspect of this course where there's a lot of bottlenecks, a lot of tight turns, some off-cambers, but then also this endurance aspect of this course where there's a lot of climbing and you really need to pace the effort through the course of your race. So we start to head back down. We're coming up on Andrew Dillman here. I'll follow him for a couple corners to give you a perspective of what it's like to go through some of these turns. After an intense start, little hump right there you can jump over. This is a bottleneck corner to the right. Bends, and then tightens up right around as we start to pass by pit 1 here. So that's something that you have this accordion effect. The first few riders are going to have a very easy time going through that section, where if you're 10, 15, 20 riders back, you're going to be really slamming the brakes and having to reaccelerate hard after that. So positioning will be important on this course. After pit 1, we have a couple of those 180 turns, really easy, really just brake checkpoints in this course. But now we're going up over this flyover. These flyover features are something that always seems to impress the spectators, the racers, everyone at this event. It's a really professionally done race with some really great features here. Off the flyover, back up this hill, you're really able to carry momentum well. Left, start to go back down the hill, and we're coming into the barriers shortly. Just take a look at how much momentum that we have coming around that bending to the right, and focus on the gearing coming out of the barriers. Very short barriers, I'm guessing 4 meters apart, 40 centimeter barriers. You're going to be coming at them with a lot of speed, and you're going to want to remount quickly and be in the right gear. As you just saw, Andrew Dillman wanted to take that corner a little tighter right behind this rider here, and he had to put a foot down. So you want to make sure you're in a easy enough gear to reaccelerate and use your momentum to carry that wide line around so you're able to pedal the whole way around. So we're starting to, after the barriers, going back up the side of the hill towards the mansion. You'll see in the distance there, this is the heaviest pedaling section of the course. The heart rate's going to spike, and this is the part of the course where you really want to gauge the effort. You want to make sure that your fastest lap times are towards the end of the race, not in the first couple laps, because otherwise you're going to blow up, you're going to go backwards, and it's not going to be that good. So some of these corners, you're really able to pedal through them. You don't need to use your brakes a whole lot. As we're going up the side of the hill, little bit of a breather point. Doesn't seem like it, but you're kind of going down the hill a little bit. Carry your speed back up, bend the tape, carry the momentum back up the hill. You'll start to see on the side of this mansion, that's a really steep hill. The camera just doesn't do it justice. But that's going to be a really, really steep off-camber that you're only going to be able to get a couple pedal strokes. Some of your pedal strokes are going to be half strokes. So you don't want your pedals to be hitting on the side of the off-camber. Again, this is a really, really steep part of the course. There's a speed limit here. I'm not able to pedal through most of it, but half stroke here, one pedal stroke there, cutting down hard to the right. This part is going to get really chattered out with the brakes. Hard turn up to the right, reaccelerating. So that turn is really tight. It's tight enough to where it kills a lot of the momentum, but you got to use as much of that momentum as you can to bring it back up the hill. Now, catch a breather. A lot of speed through these couple corners here. Focus on your composure. Go tape to tape. There's no sense in using too much brake to kill your momentum where you have to reaccelerate. You got to conserve your energy here. You're kind of going back up the hill here, but you have enough momentum to carry your way back up. And this is a fun part of the course where there's a bit of a dip here, and it's going to be this weaving and winding section through these trees. Back, another good dip. Kind of pump the bike like you're on a pump track. Use that free speed momentum. Kind of a tricky turn here. Use that turn. Try to focus on a late apex. So you think about 2 turns ahead of you instead of the turn you're in. Think 2 turns ahead of you so you can maximize your exit speed out of that section. Again, another little dip that's fun. We're going to pass these riders by here. We're almost out of this section, and we're going to be approaching pit 2 very shortly. So after we've had the last minute to really catch our breath, focus on your composure. It's back up the side of this hill, a lot of short accelerations. Tricky little off-camber turn, goes right by pit 2 here. And it looks like the weather's going to be really good this weekend, so hopefully there's not a lot of reason to go into the pits unless you have a catastrophic mechanical. Those things happen in sport, but you really shouldn't be going into the pits for any other reason other than that. You don't need a clean bike. It's looking like it's going to be very dry, maybe a little dusty, but it's going to be looking like a very nice weekend here in Baltimore. So a lot of tight turns. Coming into the finish, we're only 90 seconds from the finish, minute from the finish. Positioning is very important here. So up and down the side of this hill, there's a little bit more elevation than the camera indicates. So these efforts will take a toll over the course of the race, but use your momentum. I've said that a couple times in this video already. We're starting to approach a little tricky off camber, especially the faster you go, the trickier this will be. Pedal where you can, arc the corner to where you come up higher. You're able to set up wider for the next corner. So we're starting to go back down the hill. This is the sprint before the sprint. We're coming into a couple 180 turns before dropping into the finish straight. This is your last opportunity to get into the front, get yourself in good position for the sprint if you're coming into this with a group. So right, left, and then we're going to take a right onto that ramp. The organizers had closed that off for Preride because the ramp was a little too steep going onto the pavement. They've made those adjustments, which is awesome for us, so there's no risk of cracking a rim or damaging equipment as we come back on to the start-finish straight. So coming on, only a couple meters left from the finish, and that's a straightaway. Really appreciate you watching. Thank you for following along, and we're really looking forward to an exciting weekend of racing here in Baltimore. I hope you're all able to come out and watch or watch us on GCN. Take care.